It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. And now it's time for my favorite part of the show, where, and I guess what's in Tim's background. Tim, I'm going to guess this week it's, you got pictures taken undercover of the Southern Poverty Law Center handing Cash Patel a $500 bribe to make him act like he's a drunken bum, right?
Okay. Well, no? You're close.
Okay.
I'm in the Southern Poverty Law Center cloakroom, and
okay.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
Oh, look at that!
A nice array of Klan outfits. What's the blue? That's on your mic.
That's the Grand Dragon.
Oh, the Grand Dragon is blue. Yeah, I don't know.
That's apparently, the Grand Dragon was also a member of the Southern Poverty Law Center. So
yeah, I forget the hierarchy of the Grand of the KKK.
Yeah, it's very similar to a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Sure, it's interesting the way this. If people can see this, it looks like you're a conehead, because right behind you is one of the hoods.
Well, I had to adjust the camera because it looked like I was wearing it at first.
Yeah, no, that's
and
fine.
The people that accuse us of that do not need any more reinforcement.
So this is, what a windfall for conspiracy theorists like yourself. After you hear something like this, it's like not that big a leap to think that elections are rigged and things like that.
Well, at least January 6th. That's
talk about the infiltration. What was that guy? I wanted to say Ray Liotta, Ray Epps. Yeah, that was the guy that everybody was saying was being.
He was taped the day before saying, "We got to go into the Capitol." I probably shouldn't say this because it could get me arrested. He's saying it on camera, but we need to go into the Capitol. Got to go into the Capitol.
Understood, but that. Look, I can believe what happened here with the SPLC. By the way, a guy from National Review, Jeff Blehar, just wanted to throw a little bit of water on this by saying it looks like the indictments themselves might not fly because you're dealing with wire transfers and not all that much money in the wire transfers, but you can really get a lot of publicity. I'd say it would be akin to Trump suing or threatening to sue George Stephanopoulos and ABC, even though he didn't really have that case down right. Certainly ABC deserved it for the kind of coverage that they do. So did CBS. CBS deserved to be taken over by Ellison. And here, I got to tell you, my late stepmother, nice woman and everything like that. My brother and I were sitting and looking over some receipts or tax deduction items, and she was one of the faithful donors to the SPLC, and he started saying, "Yeah, they do such great work and everything like that." And I just wanted to scream. This is several years ago. So,
yeah, would they have been so apt to support them if they knew they were financing the Jews will not replace us much? Which I have to say, I saw that thing and I never bought it. I said, why would Republicans do that? That's not that's it. It always reeked of a false flag to me.
Oh,
not to mention it took me about a year to. It took me about a year to figure out what they meant by the Jews will not replace us. Like, hey, come on, how many Jews want to work at a tool and die shop?
What I do want to know is, how much can we really attribute Charlottesville to the Southern Poverty Law Center? Because I don't know.
$270,000.
Well, right, $270,000 worth.
What kind of operation to a guy who arranged transportation?
Right. What I'm asking you is, how much does a thing like that cost? For example, we know about the Soros and others backed Minnesota organization, which was actually kind of successful. Made Trump back down recently. I just want to know how much were they just contributors to this, or are they the sine qua non? I mean, without them, this thing really doesn't come off. And wow, Trump got such negative publicity from that because they put words in his mouth or took the words that he said and interpreted like there were good people on both sides, which was a bunch of garbage. He
Sure.
didn't say that, but
not to mention the SPLC got $176 million.
They made a lot
in donations in the wake of that. And I mean, come on, how much do tiki torches cost? $9.95 at Menards. Act now, get 11% off. Rebate.
If you get them from the Pentagon, you know that they're going to cost a lot of money. Those tiki torches, but yeah, I think this is just the surface. I think I think they're going to find out that there were other operatives putting together that torch march. Well, that's just fascinating. So that there are no real Nazis. The realest Nazis we've ever had were probably the ones that wanted to march in Skokie about 50 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, the 12.
Yeah, about that.
No, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's Nazis. I'm sure there are Klan members. There's about 24 guys around the country living in trailers.
Right.
Notice they didn't give any money to Patriot Front. That's the FBI run Aryan group they actually had the black guys because they ran out of guys to send over in the khakis for that one rally. And they all wear their masks over their faces.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chris.
Well, that's like from Blazing Saddles. Didn't they Cleavon Little put on a Klan hood or something like that? All right, let's move on to what we were just referring to before, and that is the effort to get rid of the horrible, worst of the worst immigrants, illegal aliens. Because I don't know, this was a tweet that I got from Tina Svandelis or something like that. I think she's from the Sun-Times, trying to point out that about 81% of those arrested in Chicago's Operation Midway Blitz had no criminal convictions, despite the feds repeatedly claiming the aggressive operation was intended to target the worst of the worst. Well, I'm thinking at the very least, 19% did. Okay, so I mean, I don't know how bad that is. Do you need such a draconian roundup with all the military hardware and everyone?
So roughly 1 in 5 were dangerous criminals.
Well, I don't know that they had criminal convictions.
Okay.
Which is that can range, but
and they were walking around.
Well, I would also like to know, what is the percentage who were actually charged with a crime, because that's pretty good too. The
Loyola student, the person that killed Heard, was charged with crimes but never convicted.
Right. And
included here.
Yeah, no, it's you should include that with that. And then I'm just saying, throw in a statistic here, a statistic there, and pretty soon it's a worthwhile effort. But okay. Meantime, let's move on very quickly to Iran. Rahm Emanuel. I gotta love this guy. He went on Bill Maher, and he basically, he put his foot in his mouth. He was just he said that the aid to Israel should be the same as we give to, all the other allies of ours, Japan, South Korea, the Brits, the Germans. And I don't think Bill Maher, as heterodox as he likes to sound and, such a wise guy, I don't know that because I didn't watch the whole interview, but I saw the clip. Didn't look like he pushed back all that much on Rahm. If you know differently, or anybody does, I'd like to know about it, but the people on Twitter really went after Rahm for this, because he did not mention that, if we treated Israel the same as everybody else, they'd be a member of NATO. And if they got attacked, we'd have to go to their defense. Plus, we've got thousands and thousands of troops in these other countries. And, you cash that out, it's quite a bit of money. So, but he talks like everybody's stupid and isn't going to challenge him on this. The guy actually thinks somehow that the Democrats are going to nominate a Jew for president, and either he or Pritzker is going to be that. And all I can say,
a A tiny Jew.
A tiny, yeah. I what I would say, it just reminds me of the Doobie Brothers song, "What a Jew Believes." There's no way that is going to happen.
Yeah, he's
Have you seen?
Going to come up a day late and a finger short.
So, anyway, as far as the war goes, to me, it looks like the Iranians are playing bad cop, psychotic cop with us right now, and you don't really know who's in charge. I'm kind of hoping that Trump, within the next couple of days, or even before this podcast airs, just says enough is enough, and although they're just trying to starve them of oil, because if the oil doesn't, everybody's an expert on this. Everybody knows that if they don't get the oil profits, they're not going to be able to pay the people who count, and that's themselves. So we'll see how that goes. How do you think it goes?
I have no idea.
Okay,
because it seems
that's honest.
It seems what he's done is he's turned Iran into Afghanistan. That's the gist I'm getting right now. Is he turned a nation into a bunch of warring tribes.
Which, well, I mean, that right, that could be the model right now. I don't know that we necessarily have to be there for 10 or 15 years, but
well, it would have been nice. I mean, it would have been nice if we could have, allowed them to get back to the way they were before Jimmy Carter messed it all up.
Sure, and that's still a possibility. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Yeah, the reason I'm saying that the Democrats will never nominate a Jewish guy, and this is Bruce's Jews News right now. For example, in Michigan, what was it? The Michigan Board of Trustees named, a Hamas sympathizer, supporter. This is, the state where they just had a synagogue that thwarted what could have been an unbelievable, horrifying attack, and they don't care. So what I'm wondering, though, poor Governor Pritzker. See, now thanks to Ozempic, he can finally see his penis. He's horrified to realize he's going to have to see if modern medicine can reverse his circumcision, because there's no way he's going to get elected as a Jew. What did you say that your sister was saying? There was a now that we're in the
I don't have the details on it.
Oh, okay.
It's that let me, if you want, I can look it up really quick. She just sent a text to the family that House Bill 5425 in Judiciary, 6 Republicans voted in favor of the bill, 3 Dems passed. The new term for I don't know if that's
right. Well,
yeah, you can cut this out, can't you, Chris?
Keep us posted, but it's something about pedophilia. Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know if that was a joke or if that was connected to the bill.
Oh, all right.
Now that I reread the text.
Okay. So
friend of the show, my sister, Michigan legislator.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been on the show.
Running for Senate.
Oh, wonderful. Terrific. So
Donnie Steele for Senate.com, I think.
Okay. There you go. The and I think we got like two of our listeners are in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that's like half our audience.
So I feel bad for Greta Thunberg, because she apparently was on the good ship Lollipop or whatever. The Freedom Flotilla. Tom Brokaw, say that 10 times real fast. The Freedom Flotilla was rocked by sexual misconduct allegations. She was not really a part of that. She actually probably tried to jump ship on that. But they're supposedly going and trying to save all the people who are being ambushed by the Israelis, supposedly, and they're having a party.
So she
I
was
think
not taking. She was not taking part in the sexual
she,
misconduct.
well, maybe the guy didn't find her all that attractive.
I don't know. Or maybe he did, and that's why she cut off the pigtails.
All right.
Did not
I'm
want
just wondering if Greta's group should be rename itself the GOP, because it sounds like a one grand old party that they're having all the time. She's kind of
I was thinking about her the other. I'm watching Reacher now. I can't believe I've never watched it.
Oh, have you started it from the actually? You don't even have to start it from season one. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to start at the beginning of any season. You could just pop it on at any point. Doesn't really matter.
Well, it's there's one, and it's a flashback to when he's a child, and
Okay.
the bullies in the neighborhood are forcing a Down syndrome kid to dance,
Oh.
and they said, "Can he stop now?" He goes, "I don't know." And he's got a magic 8 ball, and he turns it upside down and said, "It appears not."
Oh.
And so he goes, made him dance again, making the Downs kid dance, and that's what I think of when I think of Greta Thunberg.
Sure.
They're making her dance.
Yeah.
She's not all there, and they're making
I
her
mean,
dance.
just I don't want you to spoil this for the people who haven't seen Reacher, but does young Reacher beat up the kids who were making fun of the kid with Down syndrome?
Well, it's actually a funny scene because the cops come to the house, and says we followed the bicycle tracks from the side where the kid had to be hospitalized because his jaw was busted in 3 places. He held up a magic 8 ball that was apparently the weapon used, and the bicycle tracks led to his house, and said, "Do you think do you have anything to do with this?" And he picks up the magic 8 ball and says, "It appears to be yes."
With that wry sense of humor that is always exhibited by Reacher. So I really feel sorry for John Cryer, who was on 2.5 Men, if you recall. He apparently donated $10,000 to the campaign of Eric Swalwell. There's a picture that we're showing of him where he doesn't look happy. I'm not sure it's a reaction to having had his money gobbled up by Eric Swalwell. Although, what's 10 grand to John Cryer? That was one of the most successful TV shows of all time. And when you think about it, he made his fortune on a TV show that celebrated promiscuity and was a hell of a lot of fun. So it's not so bad that he sacrifices a little for the cause, for Eric Swalwell. I mean, don't you feel sorry for guys like Swalwell? I mean, because they haven't made it in Hollywood or in business. They have to scramble around. They want to be celebrities, and they depend on the kindness of strangers. They have to fundraise all the time, and all he wanted to do was have as much fun as your
Sure.
next New England Patriots football coach. That's all.
Sure. I mean, that's why he got into the business. It's the
Sure.
it's the interns. It's all about the interns.
Definitely clipping this hot take as a promo. Bruce defending Eric Swalwell.
It's
So-
it isn't
Sorry.
just Cryer that has to like go back on it. I mean, it was like half of Hollywood was behind Swalwell.
Well, how could you not be? Very attractive. He farted on TV. He was kind of a shock jock that way. Well, no. The good thing was, these guys, relatively attractive guys, uttering taking the Ted Kennedy route. Okay, Ted Kennedy drowns a girl. All of a sudden, he becomes the liberal lion of the Senate. He wasn't that before that happened, but as penance, that's what he does. And so
Before that happened, he was the next president of the United States. I mean, come on, it definitely was a setback to his career.
Oh, there's no question about it. Well, actually,
my favorite National Lampoon cartoon parody was a Volkswagen ad with a Volkswagen floating, and said if Teddy Kennedy had driven a Volkswagen, he'd be president today. And it was done so well, so perfectly like a Volkswagen ad that they got sued.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah,
people thought it was real.
I get it.
Do we want to enjoy this?
Listening to the president talk about this swap of dirt for U.S. military aid.
Chris, so far, the evidence is uncontradicted that the president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election. And the complaint that I've heard from Republicans all last week was that you don't have anyone who.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a million of those for Eric Swalwell. Let us move on to.
I can't believe they didn't approach him and say, we need you out of the race. And we got stuff on you.
That would be the courtesy,
but that's what I'm saying is they must have.
You think? He dared them.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. It's like, go ahead and try.
Yeah, and it worked. I mean, so fast over a weekend. Over a weekend, he was out of the race and out of Congress.
Yeah, and somebody pointed out, said, if you thought there was anything on Trump and the Epstein files, look how quick they got rid of Swalwell.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
I think Swalwell was probably says, you're going to go with Katie Porter,
right?
Seriously, and it's like, and they're like, well, we
Hit
already
me
tried
with a sack of potatoes.
Yeah, we already tried to get out of her, get her out of it with the potato thing, but she ain't going anywhere. That's,
now they're going to have Tom Steyer, the billionaire, who, but it would be fine. I like these billionaires like Pritzker and Steyer and Soros, whatever, if they would just give up every single cent of their $1 billion.
Sure.
You really show it. Come on, Bernie Sanders, because Sanders will let him get away with,
but billionaires.
Sanders will let him, keep $1 billion or 10 billion, whatever. He doesn't really want to take a lot away from them, because if they take a lot away from the billionaires, then they got to start taking stuff away from the millionaires like Sanders. That's the problem.
What always cracks me up is when they say that when the billionaires actually come out and say, well, I'm not taxed. My tax rate is far below the average American, and that's just wrong. It's like, well, there's no law that says you can't pay more.
Give it all back. Give it all back, buddy. Speaking of the Swalwell types, the next guy will be Gallego from Arizona, because he's in a lot of trouble right now.
Do you think that's him in the video?
You don't think this is Gallego right here of the video that we're looking right at?
What? No, the video of Swalwell on the bed with the hooker.
Oh, I
there's a just in the corner, there's another guy there sitting on the bed.
You think it's Gallego, right?
And if you look at Gallego's profile from behind, it sure looks like him.
Okay, but I mean, at the very least, he's a married politician, divorced his wife when she was 9 months pregnant, and then proposed to a lobbyist. But you know what? People are really rough, and maybe you'll want to use this clip as well, Chris. Maybe it's competing with my Swalwell one, because I mean, it's not like he ditched his wife between contractions. I mean, she just, you know what? I'll bet you he gave her a courtesy call, the same as the Democrats gave to Swalwell, and it just didn't work out. I mean, I don't feel,
Bruce, a regular Ralph Reed today.
Well, actually, in his defense is I believe under the law of California that she could have still gotten an abortion at that point.
Oh my! Okay. Thanks for punctuating that segment. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. So, Mayor Johnson calling for reparations. If I read this tweet correctly, he says that there are restaurants that have a history ties with slavery, so we need reparations. I'm wondering if that was just a typo and he meant reservations, because it seems a little bit of a stretch there. And it's interesting because progressives invoke a de facto statute of limitations on illegal immigration. I mean, if you've been in here for 5 years or something like that.
Sure.
Let go. Let it go. But slavery goes forever. Slavery ended on January the 1st, 1863. If I know my U.S. history.
Well, for his people.
And
apparently, if slavery happened before Christ, we could forget about that one, right?
Yeah. Let my people go. Yeah. So anyways, just interesting the differing statutes of limitation.
So he said that there's restaurants in Chicago connected to slavery.
Look, don't question the mayor trying to make a causal nexus. I'm sure he's right.
I don't know that Illinois was ever a slave state.
Doesn't matter. We also get guns from Indiana. Okay. So I'm sure we got, Phil Smith restaurant in Indiana. Yeah.
No more. It's gone.
Well, that's true. So, meantime, there's going to be this walkout or day of demonstration or something like that on May 1st that the Chicago Teachers Union was fighting to get the day off for students. And they're demonstrating for God knows what, reparations, I guess.
May 1st?
I think it's May 1st. Yeah.
Well, you know what else that is?
Yeah, it's the Ruskies May Day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a commie holiday.
And the Chicago teachers' color to T-shirt is red as well.
May as well have the hammer and sickle.
Yeah.
I
disagree with that because the hammer and sickle implied work.
Yeah, right.
And modern communists are opposed to work. They're
the leisure class.
Right. They want universal basic income so they can write poetry and paint.
Well, the latest thing, of course, is this a podcaster who's kind of well-to-do to begin with, admitted on her podcast that she was stealing from Whole Foods because Whole Foods is the beneficiary of capitalism, which is stealing from the populace. So, I mean, they're eating their own now. I mean, millionaires are eating billionaires, right? I mean, Whole Foods kind of deserves it, for their snotty attitude. And also their great food, which is unaffordable. Anyway, they're going to have this march or demonstration. And are you aware of the Frederick Douglass Academy? It's like the most notorious Chicago public school. Nobody goes to it. Okay. there's 20 students in it, and it seats 900. It has a capacity for 900. So Jeannie Ives.
Where's that located?
That's probably, I don't know where further. Yeah, I think it's on the west side. Okay. I want to say Douglas Park, but it's the Frederick Douglass Academy. I was wondering if all the students of the Frederick Douglass Academy walked out, would the empty desks notice? Because there's just. By the way, I have another Frederick Douglass Academy joke. If I give you a twofer right now, the Bears are talking. About moving to Hammond, and of course, then there's the whole Arlington Heights thing that's going on right now, and who knows if that's
they tore down a perfectly good horse facility.
Sure, and
for nothing.
And who knows if that's going to come through or not? But I was thinking that just as part of the deal, because they're throwing in all kinds of goodies, the Chicago Teachers Union wants something out of this. Why don't they just offer to have the Frederick Douglass Academy be the Bears training facility? Because it can fit 900 people.
Wow.
There's only 20 in there.
Wow.
They can still.
They probably have all the facilities too. They probably got a gym and a weight room and
got a washroom.
Uh-huh.
The drinking fountains may be a little short. Well, no, it's a high school, not a little kids' school. Meantime,
did you bring up drinking fountains at the Frederick Douglass Academy, Bruce? Really?
Right.
Really?
Look, there's more drinking fountains than there are students. I guarantee you. Okay.
20 students. How many teachers?
I think it's like there's 3 teachers for every student, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty close to.
Is it like tag team? Is it one student per classroom and the Okay, that's it for geography. Now let's bring in the science teacher.
So Darren Bailey, he's running for governor. He did some kind of ad, and I didn't actually watch the ad because it kind of made me retch. He's standing there, I guess, with his brother in Chicago. It's the Rubes coming to Chicago, and it's the beautiful Chicago scenery. And he apologizes. He says, "I've said things about Chicago I wish I could take back, but this city showed me grace anyway. I'm a better man for it." And I'm just wondering, there he is standing in front of the Bean, and now the Sears Skydeck, or high up in the Sears.
No.
Who's he trying to appeal to in this? Who exactly is he grabbed with this?
Navy Pier, the Bean, and the look down from the Sears Tower. Boy, it's he's appealing to the tourists.
Yeah, I was going to say no Chicagoan has done any of that.
unless they had friends from out of town.
But he's apologizing to Chicago. I mean, it absolutely. I just don't see it resonating with any voter that he could garner. Maybe it's a campaign that I just don't quite understand. Meantime, speaking of Chicago, terrible thing. Mayor Daley, Richard M. Daley, had a stroke, and I didn't even know that he'd had 2 prior strokes, but this is his 3rd stroke, and they're hoping he'll recover from it. I got to tell you, WGN-TV News, former Chicago Mayor Richard Daley is recovering from a 3rd stroke. And I think it's about time we stop calling him Richie, not only because of the 3 strokes, but because he's 84 years old. So I think we can stop calling him Richie, because we always called him Richie. Now, I got to tell you, apparently my alma mater, Channel 5, on their website, ran a picture, and they say former Chicago Mayor Richard M. Daley is recovering after a stroke in recent days. And of course, the picture is not of Richard M. Daley, it's of Richard J. Daley. Okay, so I immediately sent a tweet to Greg Hines of Crane's Chicago Business, because he and I were working at the Lerner newspapers on December the 20th, 1976, when that happened. And I sent him a tweet saying, Greg, we have to replate the Northtown News for tomorrow. The mayor has died. Get on it right away. Get some reaction from Neil Hartigan. So he hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I mean, yeah, I feel bad for Channel 5 because they've just scaled down. They're down to like 1 floor at the NBC tower, still get the name on the tower. But I think in the 1 floor, they probably didn't have room for a web desk. There's probably some intern like standing around there. And
I think I got a solution, Bruce. Why don't we move the Frederick Douglass Academy
exactly exactly
into the Channel 5 newsroom?
So look, it's just their website, because it's not as bad as when there was a famous bear named Newt the bear, Knut. If you remember, it's this white bear, I think it's from Germany.
Oh yeah,
and he died, and for 30 seconds. Behind the Channel 5 female news anchor, whom I know, on live TV, there was a graphic that said KUNT for 30 seconds. And yes, I am angry that I got axed by Channel 5. So, but yes, there you have it. We all make it.
So they misplaced the N.
They misplaced something. So, this is a tweet of apparently. Oh, this is the nimbiest. It's nimbianth to the nimbianth degree. Thank you, the Persian Jewess, for this tweet. Apparently, in New York, in the East Village, which voted 80% for Mamdani, they're relocating some of. They are suing Mamdani because he's planning to relocate Bellevue's homeless shelter to the East Village. We don't want that. We don't want that. Yeah. So move it next to the Whole Foods. But yeah, that's and in another story, I don't even know how to react to this. It's another Michigan story. Apparently, the city of Detroit is very concerned because fire hydrants are being stolen. I mean, is this because there's a lot of dogs that you need a fire hydrant and there's nothing nearby? But yeah, Detroit officials are begging residents to not steal fire hydrants, which are going missing across the city. You know,
Doesn't that like make a lot of mess when you take a fire hydrant off the end of a pipe?
yeah, I've never done it. Never seen anybody
Because I mean,
done
that's
it.
kind of what they are. They're kind of like big valves.
Yeah,
They're faucets. So if you unscrew a faucet without shutting off the water first, it's the
right.
water.
I mean,
Huh.
maybe there's some artists, some fire hydrant artists that's lifting them to.
They contain
You know.
brass. That's the story.
I'm sorry, what?
They contain brass and they're being stolen.
Oh, it's like copper wire being stolen. Okay.
Oh, you remember the Skyway had those beautiful aluminum railings on it. The Chicago Skyway had those
Okay.
beautiful aluminum railings along the whole thing. Do you remember this? Remember
Okay.
the story?
I know where it's going.
It was very, 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 Art Deco. I mean, it was built in
Yeah.
the 50s and they were gorgeous. And then somebody realized that, no, you can cut those with a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And they started disappearing.
Yeah. All right. Well,
And the ones that weren't stolen had to be taken down.
I'll tell you, they got to find the Kit Kat bars. They never found those that were missing. We're never going to find the fire hydrants. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap. So we have been covering this story, and I'm not sure Chris really wants us to, but what the heck? It's you're following this Mike Vrabel, the New England Patriots coach. He apparently had an affair with a reporter for a publication called The Athletic, which is really supposedly a very prestigious sports venue. And
This is getting to be our new Sydney Sweeney, I think.
right. And she doesn't look as good as Sydney Sweeney. All right. Speaking of that, so he apparently had this affair. We'll see. There's a rebuttable presumption that he did. I mean, I think he's probably going to get fired. But the New York Post ran a picture of his wife. Okay. And we could show that picture right now. I'll describe her. She's a blonde. To me, she looks very attractive. Some people were saying this is 10 or 15 years old or whatever. But it's the picture of the wife. And as soon as we get it, here it is. And I tweeted, I said, she's prettier than the reporter. And that had made one guy respond to me. And he said, I agree. She may not do the stuff a reporter will do, just saying. And I was thinking, you mean like talk football? Like talk football, buddy? So what I got, Tim, I've been on this Twitter thing for quite a few years now. The most reaction I ever got was when I made the joke about Freddie Gray. I made the front page of the Washington Post and the Washington Post online edition. Okay, it wasn't like Woodward and Bernstein in the regular newspaper, but I got endless negative comments about that. And then second, I think was the one time Dan Bongino went after me a couple of times. So the big time was when I said, I voted for Trump, but I don't have to suck up to him too. I do know that Dan Bongino, who used to like to peddle conspiracy theories, got into the administration, and all of a sudden there was nothing to see in the Epstein files. Okay, but never mind. So I got reaction from his posse. But this thing, me just saying, but the reporter doesn't look as good as the wife. I can't, all kinds of comments. It's just like, most people, a lot of people agreed with me. A few didn't. And then they were all, people just are just, caught up in this whole thing. My suggestion, and there's like one picture of them holding hands. And I thought that they should get the referee
with his wife or the reporter,
the reporter and the coach in Sedona.
Okay.
And you can't really tell from that picture, but I wanted them to get the referee, former referee Gene Steratore, to look at the hand holding and make a ruling if Vrabel is down by contact. But analyst Tom Brady.
Well, at least it was holding, huh?
Well, there's other pictures that make it. They're now they have pictures that go back like 6 years, something like that. But there's so many conflicts. I mean, Tom Brady actually owns part of the Las Vegas Raiders, so there's all kinds of conflicts going on.
Wow.
Why, in this podcast, you notice how there's a motif to this podcast. I'm not so down on Eric Swalwell. I'm not so down on Ruben Gallego. Hey, what's the big deal about this thing? I do note that the New York Times, they have something in a ringer over this. The reporters for the New York Times, because this woman, you're not supposed to have the appearance of impropriety. Forget about impropriety itself. Meantime, the New York Times ran a puff piece on this guy named Hassan Piker. Are you familiar with him at all?
I've heard the clips.
He's a commie, Hamasnik, everything like that. Not the least bit critical. They ran that, but the reporters aren't worried about that at all. They're worried about some insolent slut who is sleeping with the football coach.
With the coach.
Whatever. Anyway, we'll see how. I think he's going to be gone very shortly. But I know you don't care. Chris doesn't care. So let's move on to something.
What exactly is the what is the violation? I'm not.
Well, for her, I mean, it's a conflict of interest. You're not supposed to have an affair with a football coach.
No way. No way.
You're a reporter. What?
No way. He's gone soon.
I think he's going to be gone because I think this. First of all, I mean, how is he going to have his face in front of other female reporters whom he didn't sleep with and give stories to? I don't think you're going to see. You always see these reporters like Aaron Andrews and whoever hugging the guys on the sidelines afterwards. You see this, and I don't even think you're going to see that anymore. That's how.
He turned that team around and took him to the Super Bowl. He's going nowhere.
I think he's gone. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Now, speaking of goners, I love in the rundown, Chris says that no talent. Bob, was it Bob or Tom who died? I can't remember.
Bob
died. No talent. Bob died of Bob and Tom.
I did say R.I.P. though.
That's nice. And the thing is I mean, Tim, did you ever listen to him? Did you like him? Or
that was on the show.
That's what I was thinking. You're probably on the show, so you have to recuse yourself. You probably like the guys. Chris is the independent arbiter here.
In the age of good shock jocks, they came up in that era of Johnny B and Stephen Gary, Stephen Bruce, if you will, and they were just milquetoast boring.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to go with that, even though I didn't hear it, because I like what I heard from Chris. Now, according to this tweet from a Dana Hunsinger Bentro, his wife and 3 sons were playing Bob's favorite album, The Beatles' Abbey Road, the final song, Golden Slumbers. They were all singing it out loud, and Bob literally took his last breath when the song was ending. It's something like out of a movie. And you know what? I'm hoping with my last breath, I finish the chord of Her Majesty's a Pretty Nice Girl, which is really the last thing on Abbey Road. If you notice that, it ends, Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say. Boom, boom, boom. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl, but she changes from day to day. I want to tell her that I love her a lot, but you got to get a belly full of wine. Yeah. Her Majesty's a pretty nice girl. Someday I'm going to make her mine. Oh, yeah. Someday I'm going to make her mine. Boom, boom. I want to go bump, and then I want to die, because that's how they ended. And so, you know what? I got to tell you, and that's the difference between me and Bob. Okay. I got the funny ending. All right. I put on the last chord to Her Majesty's a Pretty Nice Girl. They have this weepy thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying?
Sounded a lot like Dave Mason's obituary. Very similar.
What did they?
He was in his favorite chair with a Maltese dog on his lap, and
did they play? I know he was the guitarist in Traffic, in the group Traffic, which I remember the John Barleycorn album.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah,
Was he on the John? He was the original Traffic. Was he on the John?
Was there a Traffic before Traffic?
There was a Traffic, and then they split up, and then they reunited for John Barleycorn.
Well, you know your Traffic history. I thought I was cool that I knew Traffic because that's before Stevie Winwood went on his own. But no, you don't. And
Stevie Winwood went on his own in the middle. There was.
I'm getting dizzy.
There was traffic on both sides of the expressway.
All right. Okay. Joe Buck. Oh, then Chris puts this on here and he says this is boring too. But Joe Buck is going to be doing ESPN Jeopardy. Okay. ESPN Jeopardy. And they're going to have that. Now, I'm hoping they do kind of like a Saturday Night Live thing and they have Sean Connery on there. And one of the answers is Rusty Kuntz. K-U-N-T. Right. Isn't that neat that I got that word in twice in this
Sure.
podcast? Now,
sure.
But obviously they're having ESPN
Polina
Jeopardy
up next.
ESPN Jeopardy is obviously for people who feel dumb that they're watching Jeopardy and don't know any of the answers to all the
Have you ever
Michelangelo is the answer. This is sports trivia, is what it is.
Have you watched the Pop Culture Jeopardy that Colin Jost hosts? They're already dumbed down.
All right. So this one, I'll try this one. Final Jeopardy category, art history. The answer, the Mona Lisa hangs in this museum, according to Michael Jordan. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bum bum. All right. Tim, you how much did you wager?
I nothing.
And so you don't have a question?
I have no idea.
Chris, how much did you wager?
The Michael Jordan thing is was the kicker. I don't know what Michael Jordan
how much
said.
did you wager, Chris?
Everything I had.
And what is the question? Do you know?
I remember when this was the Olympics. They were in France, correct?
The Mona Lisa hangs in this museum, according to Michael Jordan.
Right.
The question?
I'm saying I remember this interview because this is when they were in the Olympics, and I believe the Olympics were in Paris.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
And I don't remember what he misspoke of, but I remember you have also recited this on the show before.
What is the Eiffel Tower?
What is the luge? What is the luge?
Yes. Luge. The luge.
I'm sorry. You know what? But as a parting gift, you'll get to go on Colin Jost's show, which I understand is even more stupid.
I always thought that the British word for toilet was a way to mock the French art museum.
There you go.
I always thought they got to go to the Louvre.
Well, the Louvre is kind of a portmanteau of loo and love, so it's both
there could
bathrooms.
Be a whole category of Bruce Wolf's Michael Jordan misspeaks.
Most definitely, to some extent, to a certain degree. Bruce Wolf, Tim Slagle on the Weekly Wrap.
And that's the Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.